Welcome back. We're still with Mr. Moses Beckley, Director General of the Nigeria Hydrological Service Agency. Thank you for joining us once again.
You're welcome.
Sometimes it's difficult to blame the ordinary Nigerian when it comes to issues like this. We understand the housing deficit across the country. So many people, when they have opportunities to have houses, maybe along the flood-prone areas, for instance, they can't do anything about it. But then again, do you sense sectional interest, corruption, as responsible for government agencies still giving licenses to people who have no business getting licensed to erect structures on such areas?
I think it's unfortunate if well, government officials still issue, if you like, land permit or authority to occupy a place, in spite of, say, the town planning law that is in existence. That is very unfortunate. Yes, like you said, that is attributable to corruption. That is unacceptable, you know. On their part, it is wrong, okay? But then those who, especially for those who are now informed about the consequences, likely consequences of staying close to such river courses or water courses, they too should know that the unexpected could happen, as we've always had it, you know, and so they should not necessarily go for cheap land because they say it's available. They should now be better informed not to risk their lives and their property. Because when it happens, those who give the license will not be there to say or to give them compensations, you know. Particularly if a life is lost, how can that be restored or so replaced? So what am I saying here is that people should be responsible enough to know that whatever, they should just not go close to those areas which could spell doom for them tomorrow. So they have the final choice to make, whether or not to move there, even if the land is given free of charge. So for me, I think an individual should do the needful. Like I said in Kaduna, people were displaced, properties were destroyed, they could not stay in the houses they built with their money or they rented. It's unfortunate. And the kind of hassles, the kind of unpleasant experiences they go through for that short period makes it not worth the bother to attempt to stay in places like that. They should give it a second thought anytime. Anybody should think twice before pitching his tent close to the floodplain areas.
You see, another thing is, shouldn't there be an all-year-round campaign on this? Because it always appears as though it's only when it's a rainy season or when it's about to happen, then Nigerians are quickly put on the fire brigade mode to quickly evacuate. Should it be that way?
Thank you very much. It shouldn't be at all. And that is why what we are planning to do now, and in fact, we have been making efforts to make sure that even before the rains, we go out to inform the nation. But we're going to do much more, because we know that with intensive sensitization, people will be forced to think right and to do the needful. So to that extent, we've said, particularly after the rains, we'll make our sensitization more intensive, so that before the rain comes, hardly anybody will say, I have not heard of the consequences of building close to the dams or to the water courses.
Okay, finally now, the release of water from Lagdo Dam always is an issue, of course. The threat of flooding always increases when this happens. But is there some countermeasures? I know that some agencies announced this was going to be put in place, but bring us up to speed with what's happening right now so we don't have issues of Lagdo Dam release of water affecting any state again in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. You know, let me just say that the rain, you will agree with me, is one thing that we look forward to before it comes. And when it is delayed, we feel so bad. In fact, people go into prayers and fasting to ensure that this rain comes. It is so because we know that the rainwater is a major source of water, yes, which we use for different purposes. However, this same rain, which is supposed to be a blessing, could be a curse if it is not properly controlled or managed when it comes down. So it is like a double-edged sword. Now, the issue of Lagdo. Yes, the Cameroonians built their dam so that they can harness this rainwater when it comes down, so they can use it for the various purposes. That is good enough. However, it is for the same reason too that we also constructed the Kainji Dam, the Jeba Dam, the Dadinkowa Dam, and so on and so forth, so that we can harvest this water in these reservoirs and use them for the different purposes, for water supply, for irrigation, and for hydropower generation. However, should there be any serious precipitation, that's rainfall, and for a very long period, of course, these dams, which have some maximum capacity, will get filled to such maximum capacities. And when they get filled to that capacities, if they are allowed to continue having this water, it could destroy the dam. It could cause dam failure. And therefore, they'll have no option but to release this water through the spillways downstream. Now, how then do we manage such waters that come downstream, especially if they're in excess? I'll come back to the Lagdo Dam. Now, there are natural channels, the Benue, the Niger. Now, unfortunately, over the years, these channels have been heavily silted. And so, the amount of water that ordinarily should have been contained from upstream can hardly be contained now. And before you know it, the stretches beyond the banks and right down into people's houses, especially for those who have erected houses too close to these banks. Now, of course, when this dam, the Lagdo Dam, was to be constructed, and of course, this construction started in 1977. It was completed in 1982. And knowing fully well that by the time it is fully constructed, completed, they would have cost to release water down here on our side. Then we were to construct a corresponding buffer dam on our side to receive whatever comes from Lagdo and then control subsequently downstream. That dam is still in the works.
As it has been for several years now.
I want to believe that, of course, the moment that dam is constructed, it will control whatever is coming from Lagdo to a very, very large extent. And of course, we need this water into our dam reservoirs to recharge the groundwater which we fall onto when the river channels go dry.
And that delay is becoming dangerous, isn't it?
Well, I think so far we've been able to contain it. To the extent that today, as we speak, the Benue is to be dredged. Contract has been awarded. Like I said earlier, that the channels have been heavily silted, and once it is dredged, apart from the fact that it will serve good purpose for transportation, it will also increase the capacity of that channel to contain more water from upstream. And it has also been proposed that more dams should be constructed down the river Benue. As we know, on the other axis, we have the Kainji Dam, we have the Jeba Dam, we also have the we have the Shiruru, of Kaduna. We also have the Gurara, All of these, of course, will go along with controlling water that comes down, right down to the confluence point of of Lokoja, you know. So even down the Delta, at Onitsha, it's been proposed that there should be a dam there. Reason, apart from preventing floods, is so that we can harness this rainwater for the various uses.
For more useful purposes.
That's right.
So Nigerians still keep their fingers crossed and hope that at least in a few years from now, was it months, we should have that buffer dam in place.
Well, according to, and I believe that yes, with the support of the federal government, it can be done. Sometime the permanent secretary of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources said very hopefully, say in 48 months, 36, 48 months, and of course with the support of the federal government, the dam would have been in place.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moses Beckley, for your time on Dateline Abuja.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you as always for your mails. Keep them coming and using the address and Twitter handle on your screen. And you can let us know anything happening within your locality, especially if you're in the nation's capital. And don't forget, you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. And you can make your comments after viewing the current video as well as older episodes of the program. Always remember to include your name and where you're writing from. I'm Gloria Umezuke. Thank you for watching and see you again.